Hi guys, so this is my little video for the Unlimited Life Business School challenge at Marta set for the foundation course. So for me, for part one, for the thing that I get most excited about is being a dad. You know, everything I do is focused around what I can then share with my boys, what I can do with my boys, and it's absolutely amazing. You know, every time they have a little discovery of their own regarding money or regarding what is possible for them, it fills me with an overwhelming sense of achievement and this kind of overwhelming sense of satisfaction, or fulfillment is probably a better word. And what was funny was just before I started this video, I very nearly was like, I'm out in the garden in my lovely new house, that's better, in this lovely new house, and I thought, you know what, it's really windy, that's going to get picked up by the video. So like what Marta said about this false pretense about the authenticity, about how it gets to look, I nearly did that and then went inside and I was like, no, I'm in this amazing garden, this amazing house, I've got blackbirds in the back. And what motivated me to get to this point really was my sons. You know, they wanted or desired a different quality of life from living in the town, and being able to do stuff with them, like sharing space. Like, so today we've had family round, and they've been excited to have the family round, and especially my niece, and kind of spend time with them. And then they've gone up the woods because we live in a nice rural area now, so they've been out in the woods for a bit. And then they've been to a local lake, and they've got this shitty like £6 rod, a couple of hooks and sweet corn for bait. And they've sent me 2 pictures where they both have caught a fish each. They've put it back and that, so that's okay. But I was like, that's just fucking amazing. So they've had the initiative to go, do you know what, we don't have all the resources, we've got this shitty rod, or a bit windy, this shitty little rod, but what we desire to do is go out there and have fun and see what's possible with regards to catching this fish that they've been wanting to do for a while. And one thing I noticed was that there were times, so this is kind of blending part 1 and 2 for these videos, there were times when I was like, no, we can't do it, we need all the proper gear, you know, I'm not sure if you need a license and all this kind of stuff. There was all these sort of barriers and all these blocks, and I kind of realised that I'm actually sort of stifling in times through society-based norms about what's expected and what we should or shouldn't have, their creativity to go, Joe, fuck it, we're going to go and take this shitty little rod and we're going to go and get fish, Joe, because anything is possible. And just some of the stuff they do just absolutely amazes me. And the more I create and the more I manifest, that directly impacts on them in providing them new opportunities. It's just absolutely amazing. And for me, for the business, what they relates to is most of my clients are mums, and you know, I understand the pressures of being a parent and everything else, and being a single dad. So I kind of get that, and I don't utilise that enough within my videos with the authenticity about, you know, we've got to do fitness, we've got to eat well, but do you know what? Shit, sometimes it's hard because we're a parent and we've got to do this, and we've got to be all things to all people. Yeah, so my boys are amazing. They inspire me. My eldest particularly, he's the one that lives with me, so there's been times when I've been absolutely shattered, and he said to me, Dad, you know, what if it was me and you said, no, you're too tired, you'd be like, come on, it's just one more thing to do before we can kind of rest and be. And that was amazing that he's picked up on that language that I normally use, except maybe when I get in my own way, when I get a little tired. And the kind of ethos of how I live my life now, with just everything, money, the resources, what's possible. You know, they now see that pretty much not pretty much at all, anything is possible if you're able to take steps forward, 1 footstep at a time, in the direction of where your heart desires, and you do it from a place of a genuine reason, you know, not to be show-offy, not to be kind of, look at all the stuff that I've got, or anything like that, because that's quite, for me, my view is that's quite empty and not very fulfilled, and it's done from a place of fear of scarcity, lack, not from a place of abundance and faith. Because when you're happy with what you've got and when you truly desire what you have, you kind of, yeah, this is cool. I don't need to show anyone. I don't need to show off to anyone. I don't need to put this forward to anyone else, because I'm cool with what there is and what there isn't, and how it gets to look and everything else. So for me, for part one, about moments I feel good and light and a sense of achievement, is when I see the changes within my two boys. One's 14 and one's 11, and you know, particularly the 14-year-old, I say he lives with me. So when I see him doing stuff like collecting pallets and then turning them into furniture, so he's got his own tools and everything else, and I've not really facilitated a lot except allowing him a space to just create and do what fascinates him. He's created a little chair for the garden, he's created a TV stand for his bedroom, and when I watch him working, when I see what he's doing and just that process that he's going through with, you know, kind of going against what the school are saying of, you know, they don't allow for these things at school, and when I've had some of the professionals, this is going into part two a little bit about what scares me, what stops me. Sometimes when, you know, there's certain professionals that get involved, because, you know, he's going through the assessments for being autistic and everything else, when they heard that he was using power tools and had knives and was going up in the woods, they were like, honestly, you know, this kid's saying this stuff, we're trying to check with you that this isn't the case and that he's kind of got overwhelmed. I was like, no, actually, it is the case. I allow him to do that because the modern school system that he is a part of does no woodwork, does no metalwork. They don't even do cooking or textiles or anything like that. So I facilitate that at home, and for me, motivating myself through seeing what is possible for them, it's just amazing, and it really does, when I remind myself of that, it really does allow me to take those next steps forward, because every time I step forward, they step forward as well, and that is so amazing as a parent, to see your children grow and just their mindset. And I see it most when he's with his friends and how very different they are. Not that there's anything wrong with the other kids, but I see them very much as the norm, the other 99%, which is fine for them, but it's not where we are, and I see that growth within them, and that's just wow. That is just like wow. Yeah. So part two then, things that stop me showing up, being a certain way, I suppose, is sometimes because I spent years going through the court system with my eldest, over 7 years to get full custody. Sometimes I do worry when the professionals are involved or the school are involved, and are they going to judge me, how they're going to see. But then sometimes I just have to remember that I'm a fucking epic parent, and everything he does is safe to the point of he's not going to kill himself, but it's risky enough that he can learn where the boundaries are, and learn where he's comfortable and what he's not comfortable in, and where he needs to grow and where he's grown a lot. And I just get to remind myself now that those professionals are working to a society-based standard that is set by people in government, people in power, that have no bearing whatsoever on my existence, on my space, on my boys' existence and space, and on their life. And just listening to myself, how I talk about that negative side and how my mood drops. And then when I talk about the fact that my two boys are at a lake fishing with sweet corn and have caught fish and have a sense of achievement from being out these kind of outdoorsy, creative, exciting times that they're now experiencing. And these memories, you know, they will remember this time when they took this shitty rod and caught fish and had fun and bonded as brothers even more than they already are. And even though one lives with me and one doesn't, to see their bond grow together, and see how much the 11-year-old adores his older brother, I genuinely feel so complete as a parent that I just feel that stillness. I feel that overwhelming love, that I know that if something happens to me tomorrow, that if I'm no longer here at some point in the future, that they've got each other, that they're going to be okay, and that they have the tools, they have this amazing start in their very young life where they get to realise what I realised at 36, 35, 36, 37, what they now know at 11 and 14, that anything is possible in life, that you don't have to wait until you've got all the money, all the resources to go and do the things you love. You get to go and do that and take the next smallest step to make that happen. Yeah, I don't think I've really got anything else to add to that. That's just wow. And being a parent is an absolute privilege. It's a fucking nightmare some days as well, but it's an absolute privilege to have these two boys. And I may not have the most ideal situation according to society, being a single parent of these two boys, and 7 years in court to get custody of my eldest and seeing my youngest every other weekend, and being an entrepreneur and being self-employed and having the business, and everything else may not seem ideal for some, and it may seem like it's a bit of a weird situation where my eldest looks after himself and he gets to learn a level of independence, which will so pay him so well in the future. Like during the week we painted his bedroom, he painted his bedroom, I helped with advising him on what he needs to do, but he learned during the week how to paint walls and how to paint his room. So, and at 14, the skills this kid has is amazing. And my 11-year-olds, yesterday we went to a community event and they had this parkour stuff, and just seeing this kid move around the parkour stuff, the agility, the nimbleness, the fearless attitude that this kid has to be adventurous physically, whereas the other one has more intention to be creative and fearless in a more practical, design, creative manner. But the skill set, the intention is the same for both, and it just makes me smile. It is just amazing. So I'm going to wrap this video up there at 12 minutes, and thanks Cliff and Marta for the wonderful opportunity. I absolutely love being a part of your space.